Hi, I'm Dana, and I've made a fair amount of videos about how I feel like a lot of my life as an autistic person is just having to live with discomfort, having to figure out how to deal with just being quite uncomfortable most of the time. And I think that I quite often just describe a lot of my feelings as feeling uncomfortable because I find it really hard to put actual emotions to what I'm feeling. I'm a very I either feel good or I feel bad. I feel positively or I feel negatively. I don't necessarily know what the emotion is. I know it's bad. I know I'm not enjoying it. I know it's quite good. I'm quite happy and it's a good time and I'm enjoying it. And I also, that's another one where I use happy, where sometimes I am happy, it's got to be said. But a lot of the time I'm like, well, it's a positive emotion, so I'm just gonna say happy. Like, it's just the easiest fucking encompassing term for good, isn't it? Like, I'm feeling a positive emotion, I'll call it happy. And I think as someone with quite black and white thinking, the other side of that is that I'm like, well, if it's bad, I'm uncomfortable. And true, I might be uncomfortable with the feeling, but I think something I actually feel a lot more going about my life as an autistic person is genuine fucking fear. Like, I don't quite want to say terror or make it really strong, but it is fear. I am scared quite a lot, most of the time, and very, very often about things that I know full well I don't need to be feeling any sort of fear or panic or anxiety about. And I also think that I quite often say that I'm anxious when that's part of the emotion. I am anxious most of the time. I often feel other things alongside it. Oh, two emotions at once, the capacity that we have as humans, huh? But the thing that's made me think about this recently is that I've done some more reflecting on my life and realising things, and I've started watching quite a lot of horror films again, and I did very briefly dabble with a little bit of true crime again on YouTube lately, but that really didn't make me feel good. I was like, oh no, I don't like this. So I've just been watching random horror films, and it lines up with I've started to get to a point where I think I am actively making friends with people. So it's not just that I'm showing up to group events and be like, hi, I'm Dana, how's everyone doing? There are individuals that I've gotten to know to a point, and we're doing more things outside of like planned things where I'm doing a thing with this person as a friend. It scares me. It scares me so much. Every single fucking social interaction, whether it's meeting up with them in person, whether it's texting back and forth to sort plans out, all of it strikes the absolute fucking fear into me. I can only describe it as fucking fear, genuinely. It's not necessarily there is some anxiety, don't get me wrong, but I'm scared. I got put into a group chat to be able to organise to go to an event that I want to go to with two people that I want to get to know better, and I was so fucking scared. The notification made me absolutely shit myself. I've been taking hours to reply and to actually even just fucking look at the messages because I'm scared. It's not even just that, oh, I'm a bit anxious. It's not, oh, why have you been in there? But there is definitely a layer of anxiety, but also it's, and this is where we tie back into me having watched a lot of horror films lately, and we're going to talk more about that, because it's the same feeling as when I know something's about to happen in a film. We've talked before about how I think it's probably again due to my autism, but I get very into my films and shows, and I really feel what their characters are going through. It's a very immersive experience for me to watch something. That's why I like watching things. And the way that I feel when I'm socialising, when I'm interacting with people, when I'm going to my little events, when I'm doing things like that, it's the exact same way I feel when, specifically, one of the horror films that I rewatch quite a lot is The Woman in Black, and it's when he's going down the hallway to the room in the dark and you can hear the rocking chair, so you know that there's got to be something fucked up in there, and he's got his little axe and his little candle and he's going down his little hallway, and it's just so fucking scary and tense because you know something's right about to happen. There is no fucking chance that this is going to be something silly. It's whatever you're about to see is going to be really scary, so you're already scared. And that is the feeling that I have making plans with people I want to get to know better because I think we could be friends. And I'll give that I've had a variety of times that I think I'm actually quite valid about it, because in the past I found it really, really fucking hard to organise things with people, because I'd be like, do you want to do this thing? And they'd be like, yeah, I do want to do that thing. And I'd be like, okay, do you want to do this thing on this day? No, I'm busy on that day. How about this other day? No, I'm busy on that day too. Okay, is there a day that you are free? Yeah, this day. Okay, cool. Shall we do it on that day then? Yeah, that'd be good. What time do you want to do it at? Like, they have given me absolutely fucking nothing, so I've been very scared that they don't actually want to hang out with me, they don't actually want to talk to me. When I do then go and hang out with them, it's not going to be nice, it's going to be really awkward, it's going to be really horrible. They might just fucking like dump me somewhere. Like, it might be a whole thing, because I've fucking had that before. And also, that's one of the big things as well, is that I do think that my fear of social interaction, my fear of like going to places with people and doing things, is around the fact of like, I've had horrible experiences while doing these things. I've had people like really not treat me kindly and like actively go out of their way to humiliate me and make me feel bad about myself. So I do have a level of thinking that it is sort of valid for me to be a bit scared, you know? But then there's also the fact that in these current situations, all I have is evidence that these are nice, pleasant people, you know, like they are responding to me in a way that makes it easy to make the plans. It's a genuine back and forth where I can tell that they are like, not necessarily like invested, but like they are also interested in this. They're not just like, shit, this bitch is messaging me again, I guess I'd better agree. Like, I also massively don't understand that. I'd way rather people were just like, no, I don't really want to go and do that with you. Fair enough, I'll go do it on my own, I'll find someone else to do it with, I'll have a nice time, just tell me what's happening. And I think I might have to actually change the title of this video, because I do sort of treat these as like the therapy sessions where I get my thoughts together. And I don't think I'm necessarily like living in constant fear. Like, a lot of it is anxiety. When it comes to people, anything with other people, social interaction, that scares me. That's the fear. That's where all of my fear is, because people are so incredibly unpredictable. I've had so many friends where I really thought that I knew them and that we were like close best friends. I trusted them with my life kind of thing, and then it all like went wrong and I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have trusted that person. I was actually right to have all these fears and niggles in the back of my mind. That was actually entirely valid of me. And especially as someone who's been bullied and abused, I get why I'm fucking scared of people, but it's really, really frustrating that it feels like my brain has built this fear on the evidence of people aren't always nice, people aren't always thinking about like your best interests at heart, whatever else. Like, people aren't always going to be good people. I have evidence of that. I have also experienced people being actively nice to me. I have also experienced people actively going out of their way to help me out and to invite me to things and to welcome me to places. Like, I have, especially recently and especially in this area, experienced very lovely, positive, nice people that I've enjoyed very, very much. And especially when I'm speaking to the people that I've met at events and I'm trying to get to know better and want to be friends with, they terrify me. And I would expect that at this point my brain would be like, well, we have all this evidence that not only people can be nice, but the specific people that I'm trying to like build friendships with and get to know better, I've only seen evidence of them being really nice, cool people. I've seen the way they interact with other people. I've seen that they have long-term friendships, and like, you know, all of the evidence points like this should be really nice. I think I've put myself into like a really good position to meet like like-minded people and to be able to like build community and all of that. I do think I've done like a massive positive step towards that. Why am I not taking that on as evidence? Why is that not becoming evidence in my brain so that I can stop being fucking scared of people? Because it is like I'm scared of them. I'm scared of other people, like, massively. And to tie it back into my horror film thing, I noticed that I've started watching horror films again, and it's been like a quite direct linear thing of I'm speaking to more people and trying to make more like one-on-one friendships where people actually know me as a person and I can get to know them as a person. It'll be really nice. I don't do this very often. I haven't had that happen an awful lot. As I've explained, I just didn't feel like people were trying to interact with me, and not even in the way of like I'm expecting people to come and actively try and make friends with me. Like I said, it was me reaching out and being like, shall we do this thing? And it just being really fucking difficult to have any sort of back and forth with people. I just felt like they weren't trying. Even when they are trying and it's all technically going really nice and I should feel really good about myself and we feel really good about how things are going, it scares me. It scares me so fucking much. And I will say, thankfully, when I'm in a moment, when I'm like doing the thing, I'm actively interacting with the person in person that I want to be friends with and want to get to know better and blah, 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 I'm not scared. because they're nice people that I enjoy being around, and that's the whole point. That's why I want to get to know them better and be friends with them. I do actually enjoy the time that I spend around them. That's the entire point. I'm not scared then, but every fucking thing that goes into getting to have those moments petrifies me. I feel genuine like grip of fear on my heart in the same way that I do when I'm watching horror films. And that's where I've had like a few phases of my life where I've been really into horror films, and some of them have just like remained as like partial special interests because they tie into other things. Like I really like The Woman in Black because Liz White played The Woman in Black, and she's in the prequel to my all-time favourite show, and also in, we don't need to go into who Liz White is, but like I have my odd thing that like ties into my special interest, like Tusk or The Woman in Black, and then I have the other horror films that honestly I'm probably only ever gonna watch once. I've had a handful of things like Jeepers Creepers and Wrong Turn. I really like shit horror films, but like I've had various phases of my life where I've been really invested in horror, and they were either when I was in school and I was having to like try to make my school experience as pleasant as it could be by having some sort of fucking friendship with somebody so I wasn't on my own being bullied 24/7, or when I was working in the video shop and my boss was really fucking eager for me to like burst out of my shell and stop being so anxious, and just sent me to talk to people all the time, and it was really very distressing and horrible. I fucking hated it, and just the novelty of the fact that I got to say that I worked in a video shop is a massive reason why I actually did that fucking job for so long, because like so much of it did just scare me and make me anxious. But every point in my life that I've gotten invested in horror again and be like, oh, I'm watching a lot of horror films lately, it's been when I've been having more social interaction with people. Like I've had massive waves of my life, like years at a time kind of thing, where I've only spoken to like my housemate, my best friend at the time, my partner at the time, my mother. I've had really long times of like extreme social isolation where I've known one or two people maybe that I speak to regularly. I don't watch as much horror at all at those points. It's not so much on my radar. I'm probably rewatching a lot of like the TV shows that I like in those periods. I'm looking for a lot of like comfort and nice things to make me feel better. And then when I'm having to like socialise more, I feel scared all the time. I don't want to feel scared all the time. And obviously I'm being like hyperbolic or whatever. It's not all the time because I do enjoy the social interactions that I have. But periods between texts when I've said like, oh, are we doing this? Or is this happening? When I've sent off a text, when someone sent a text to me, I know I need to respond to it. Those moments, anxiety for the next like 6 hours straight. And that's where, again, I've said anxiety. I'm scared of people. I'm scared of having to talk to them. I'm scared of how they're going to respond to me. I'm scared of what they're thinking about me. The whole fucking thing scares shit out of me. And I'm scared. And rather than just sit there and feel scared about someone I want to be friends with agreeing to go to something with me, rather than sit there and be scared of that, I'll sit here and be scared of fucking Hannibal Lecter or whatever, you know, whatever shitty fucking horror film I'm watching in the moment. Obviously Silence of the Lambs is one of the best made horror films that's ever existed. It is one of my favourites for that reason. But I also love all of the Scream films, and I'm shocked by how many there are every time I rewatch them. But off track. The more I'm socialising, the more I feel scared, and then the more I watch loads of horror films, because at least that gives me a purpose to be scared of. And I think also that does actually sometimes massively help me, because if it has the right type of like fear and tension, or I really feel it for the character instead of for myself, when whatever like scary thing finally happens and there's the relief of it having happened, I feel so much extra relief, and sometimes that gets rid of a whole bunch of my fear, and that's when I'm like, oh, I'm going to reply to that text that I was scared to look at before. So yeah, I am aware this has been a bit of a ramble. I just think it's quite a fun little connection. I definitely was looking for a different word, but like obviously it's quite a common autistic thing to not be able to really put names to your emotions and not necessarily know what you're feeling at this point and that. So I feel like this is just maybe something that people can relate to. I'd love to hear your version of things if you have anything like this. That I never want to over explain, but I also, when I say like this, I mean if you have the moments where you realise that you're perhaps engaging in some sort of fiction or in some sort of like non-real scenario in order to process the way that you feel about real life scenarios, and those are perhaps patterns that you've had throughout your life and not really noticed until recently, or you noticed ages ago and you noticed it, and good for you. That's what I mean by this kind of thing. Very quickly at the end here, as always, my friend Steph has a GoFundMe up so they can try and get accessible transport for their partner who's disabled and has several chronic illnesses. And currently, every time that they have to go to a doctor's appointment, need to go to the hospital for an emergency, anything like that, they are repeatedly re-injured while trying to do so. And obviously that means they don't get to go out and have any sort of fun stuff either. So it would massively improve their quality of life in a variety of ways for both Shan, who needs the transport, and for Steph, who's their partner, who has to try and organise things for them. And it's quite often a whole mess for them, and as with a lot of people in the world, all they need to have a much higher quality of life is some money. And I know it's quite a significant amount of money, but we are also getting actually quite far in with it. So I would really appreciate if we can try and help it along that last bit of the way. I'm not going to stop talking about it until it's done, so if you want to hear me promote myself at some point, I suppose, you need to donate to it. If you can share it, that obviously is also really, really helpful, and I really appreciate it. If you can just give it a click and have a little read through what Steph has written, I would really appreciate that. I know most of us don't have loads of money right now, and despite that, I have decided to add a second GoFundMe to this little end spiel, because Alex, someone that I've met recently in my local area, a local friend for local people, and they're raising money to be able to get top surgery, and it'd be really cool if we could help him out with that. I know Pride Month's just ended. Don't let it end. Keep helping the queer community, keep helping people out. It would be really cool to see him be able to get the surgery that he wants and be able to like live his full proper self and all of that kind of stuff. We love helping trans people be able to access the medical care that they deserve to be able to access anyway, don't we? So both of those will be linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you can have a look, if you can have a little share of them, if you are able to donate anything at all. That would be absolutely amazing and incredible. Anything is appreciated. I appreciate you just for listening to this spiel at this point. I know it's not very fun, but I also have 17,000 followers and friends that are in need of help that I can't provide. So why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I be putting it here? I give you the proper content before I start on this spiel, like at least there's that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I'll see you again in a couple of days.